to take you higher. Don't stop now, start that volume. About to take you higher. About now, start that
right, hello everybody. I'm doing the intro instead of Matt Pizza, even though we were gonna make him do it because
Uh,
he was late. We were like,
Yeah,
"Son, the stream is starting. Where are you?" And he's in a Valorant game.
griefer.
this
Honestly,
guy.
big griefer here. But yep,
In
hello
my
everybody.
defense,
No, you don't get to defend yourself.
no. Oh, all right, fine, whatever.
This guy playing Valorant. I'm just telling you guys now. He doesn't want to be on the show. He just wants to play Valorant instead. So.
Not true. I like the show. The show is fun. I get to interact with the community, the EDL community that we got going on.
But welcome everybody to our second week of the Waveline. This is your host Exernian, and today I'm joined by Zell, Clutch, and the other guy,
Hmm.
Matt
Yeah.
Pizza.
I see how it
So,
is.
Zell, you weren't on the show the first week, but you were on the first week of EGL. So, for this new crowd, you should introduce yourself.
I'm Zell. I play for both divisions. I like cats. Yeah.
It's a good look.
It's a pretty good look. And all of the graphics we got going on for you, they were produced
Oh
by
yeah.
Exernian and Zell.
Yeah, we are a
So
team. Zell is
Yeah.
also on our content graphics team. The stream would not look as good without Zell, so he's
Guys,
pretty
guys.
important. He's
round of
important.
applause for our boy
Round of
Zell over
applause
here.
for Zell.
Oh, we need a soundboard. We need a soundboard. Oh my god. I have content, guys.
Oh no.
I have ideas for content now.
All right, so we will go over a quick recap of our first week games. We had 2-1 TFA when they went against Hyperion Shadow. We had on stream, so this was Unlucky Academy versus CB Resurrection, and Unlucky was the only team in the division to pull out a 2-0. So, thankfully that was on stream, saved myself. And then the last game of the Lunari division was Feed the Dream versus Same Strategy. Feed the Dream won 2-1. And in the Solari division, we only had 2 games. So one game, one team had a bye, and the other team, since Raw Gamble dropped, they had a free win. So the two series we had that week was Merciless Esports Frost versus the Crosspoint Koalamos, and they pulled ahead with a 2-0. And the second match of the Solari division, we had Abyssal Emerald versus Big Duck Entourage. And Big Duck Entourage pulled a 2-0. So, actually, no, so we're gonna put Matt Pizza into the spotlight first. It's his turn. Matt Pizza.
Hmm.
We'll start back at TFA versus Hyperion Shadow. What did you think of that series?
So going into this series, right? I was just like, I didn't really know who TFA was. I didn't really know who Hyperion was, right? Like both of these teams are new, but Hyperion Shadow does have some like notable people. Like they did have Leper Koopa, they have Tukamus, and did have Attila. So I was just like, okay, I think these people, like, I knew who they were, but TFA was like a complete no name, like walking into this, and they absolutely destroyed in a few of both of the games that they won, right? So we have TFA Weeaboo Joe, right? He was unfortunately he didn't play in one of the games, but the two games that he did play, oh my, this guy like actually just jungle gapped so hard. Looking at the stats, right? He is one of the two junglers that has double digit KDAs. He has a 39 KDA in the jungle. I mean, that's just insane. And it's not only the jungle that's amazing for TFA, right? We do have the bot lane, Killer Frost and Elite Omega. Like Killer Frost like has
Queen
a
Frost.
high Queen Frost.
Oh
Queen
my
Frost
god.
This is why he's
dyslexic.
kind of uninvited himself from the show.
Wait, no, I like the show. But yeah, like their bot lane, they were doing really well, right? Like probably like in my opinion, one of the top bot lanes of the Lunari division.
Matt Pizza, you want to hear some numbers that the TFA bot lane produced?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so Queen Frost, over that entire series, those 3 games, Queen Frost walked out 37 and 17 with it. So their KDA was 6.71 and their KP was 73.44%. And when you're playing ADC and your KP is above like 50, that's already kind of insane. Because, we see a lot of like pro teams and competitive teams, we don't play around bot lane usually. We're playing around like mid jungle, or ADC is left to farm bot lane while support kind of roams top side. So when your support has the support, even Elite Omega, he had 78.13% KP those 3 matches, and Queen Frost had 73.44. Like, that's higher than your mid laner and pretty much almost the same number as your jungler. So it's like, I really think that TFA has one of the strongest bot lanes coming out of week 1. Like, I've just never seen numbers this insane, and I hope to see them continue this trend. Yeah, I mean, Clutch, did you have any thoughts as well into this series?
So yeah, I mean, before the series even started, I point out TFA's bot lane is probably being the one of the best in the groups. With Queen Frost and Lito Mega, I thought beforehand that this bot lane, just looking at them on paper, were going to be very, very solid. And they proved my prediction correct. They were very solid in the game against Hyperion, picking up the 2-1 win, which is pretty big for them. I think Hyperion is kind of the same skill level as them in this group. So obviously edging out that win is very, very important for the standings. But also need to know Hyperion did pick up a win. It's not like they didn't go got swept. They were able to pick up a win against TFA, which is good. They had a bit of roster issues from what I heard week 1 and week 2. They're going to have their full roster, so that's going to be big for them. But even still, taking a game is pretty big for the team. You don't. It's not the best to lose, but if you are going to lose, 2-1 is obviously better than 2-0. So Hyperion does have something to look forward to. I think that their mid laner, Get Moonated, I don't think he's on the roster anymore. I don't know, but he didn't play too bad. I just think that TFA on the day was the better team. We're able to pick up the win against Hyperion, but Hyperion, they don't really need to worry. They're still in a good spot here.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Zell, did you have any thoughts as well?
I think they summed it up pretty good.
Okay, we can look at the next match. We had so obviously ULE Academy versus CB Resurrection was our streamed match of the week. I think the VOD is still up. It's also on the YouTube, so So yeah, Zell, I'm gonna reach out to you first. Obviously, you were on CB Resurrection, and why don't you break down what happened?
I'm gonna just point to my power rankings. If anyone needs to know what happened, you guys can look at Zell's power rankings because it sums it up pretty well. I just think we underestimated UE coming into the game. I think we really just did not prepare enough for UEA. My bad, excuse me. Their macro and their jungle. Their jungle pressure and jungler. Jesus Juice. Let's be real. He's kind of insane. The pressure he can apply to the map and his actual pathing is up there when it comes to IBS leagues and players. And it was a stomp. Let's be real. It was pretty hard to watch for CFT fans.
Oh yeah, all the Accelerate fans were in the chat. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I did think, like, you guys were coming off a strong season, right? You guys have, like, a lot of previous experience playing together. You guys are also playing in EDL. And I felt that, like, I feel like just coming into week 1, it's okay to make mistakes, right? Because, you have the rest of the season to pick up more wins and, like, kind of, look back. And it's easier to, like, look back at mistakes and figure out what didn't work, what happened, what went wrong, right? And you have more time to fix those issues. So, it's unfortunate you guys did get stomped week 1, but it was a pretty good, stream to watch. It was super entertaining, the debut stream. I want to give, like, a shout out, especially to the support on UEA, Major Leg. Like, I remember when we were just on the stream, he was just, like, the hooks, they're heat-seeking missiles. Like, this guy makes Thresh hooks look just point and click. Like, Clutch, I know you were casting and you can attest to that.
Yeah. I was watching it and I was like, yeah, this actually isn't a skill shot. It's point and click. He just hits the button and it just, hits them. he just hits the people for him. He actually does not have to aim them. He could aim his mouse completely backwards and he would still hit the hook. Now he did miss one, so it proves that he's human. He's not an AI programmed by Riot Games, which is good. Don't want any AIs in this league. But yeah, this guy was hitting everything. I'm pretty sure he's never going to get Thresh again if teams do their homework. Because if you just go and watch the stream match, like this guy just took over the game by hitting hook after hook after hook, setting up plays for his team. I mean, he was pretty much the superstar of his team week 1 for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Matt Pizza, did you have anything to add to that as well?
So I mean, watching Major Leg, it was insane seeing those hooks just insta connect, right? Like that was absolutely insane for a support in EDL to just constantly hit a hook. Like I don't think this guy missed like a single hook throughout the whole entire game, right? Um, that's probably a lie. But I wanna go back to the jungle, right? Jesus Juice 13. So we talked about the Fallen's jungler, right? TFA, Weeaboo Joe. This guy is a jungle that's like looking to match TFA, right? Jesus Juice 13, he came out with from the 2-0 series with a 28 KDA. Now, it's not as great as TFA's 39 KDA, but it's still high. It's still double digits, and it's a really high double digit. Like this dude is like he's getting the kills, he's getting the assists, he's like just helping out his team insanely, right? And that's not to say he's not even CSing well. This guy has a 6.71 CS per minute. That's insane to end the jungler. Like he's out CSing his laners, all of them actually. This guy has the most CS
So
per
is this
minute on
guy
his
just like
team.
funneling all of the CS into himself?
I mean, hey, if he's the carry that
True.
EA needs, then so be it, right?
Mhm.
Like carry jungle. But yeah.
Yeah, overall, I think that was a really great match to watch, and I'm excited to see like just how UEA continues their season, like coming off such a strong week 1. But then the last game of the Lunari division was Feed the Dream versus Same Strategy. So what I noticed actually, so Feed the Dream was blue side every single match, and I was like, I also noticed that Feed the Dream they also got the first Drake and first Rift I think in the first 2 games. So this team like likes to play early. Their jungler is like on the map getting these objectives, and I think the one game they lost it was their second game, so I think they lost the second Drake and then snowballed. And it was like a really good game played by Same Strategy, and the score was like 5 to 25 kills. But overall, like, and then the next game they went like 24-8, and they're like whatever, like losing doesn't matter, and then they just do the same thing. They win all these early objectives, and I think having this kind of playstyle, especially in a lower elo league, it's really hard for other teams to find the gaps in that kind of strategy and make their way back into the game. Because like, you lose objectives and then your teammates are like already slightly behind, or they don't even have to be behind. Like if they go even, they technically lose. They're going against players that are already ahead, getting these objectives and just like being so proactive. And I think that Feed the Dream, like as the season goes on and they keep like, honing this kind of strategy and this kind of play style, I can see Feed the Dream getting like a lot better to come. So, Matt Pizza, do you have anything to say about that as well?
Like I agree, right? Like Feed the Dream, they do like to play early. But unfortunately, like they do like to play early. But of the 2 games that went on to the third game, they did have the longest game time. Granted, it was just by like a few minutes, right? Like total game time for Feed the Dream went on to like around 98 minutes. So pretty long games that Feed the Dream are playing. Which goes to show that like they are
Wait,
able to get,
you said
huh?
98 minutes? Isn't that like an hour and a half?
That's all their game times combined.
That's all their
Yeah,
game time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, their first game
yeah.
was almost 40 minutes.
I was
Like
really confused. I was like, their longest game time of 98 minutes. I was like, who just
no, no,
played
no,
like a
no.
1 hour and a half game of League of Legends?
They were scaling. They were
The scaling, the scaling.
they're not at late game yet.
Sorry,
But yeah,
continue.
like they have um they have a now I just lost my train of thought. Basically, just to sum it up, right? Feed the dream. They like to play early. The other team respects that. And the other team, same strategy, decide to be like, hey, you know what? Let's just wait for the late game. We'll probably win. And they did win a game, but Feed the Dream, I think, will be able to be an interesting team to watch, right? These early game play styles, like it's just fun to watch, right? Like early game skirmishes, like fighting, like we just want to watch the LPL, man. Like that's so much more fun to watch than everyone farming till 30 minutes and then one team fight decides the game.
True, I'm like asleep at my desk if nothing's happening. Like I'm manually controlling the camera when I spectate. So I'm just like sitting there waiting for something to happen. You know, if you spice it up a little. I'm not gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So Zal, did you have anything else about this series?
Um, I think Matt Piece of somebody pretty correct. I think FTT are gonna be a fun team to watch just in the early game, and the jungler Marriott, I think you pronounce it Marriott. He has probably the most not unconventional picks in the jungle, but more we don't really see in IBS those carry junglers, those carry picks. I mean, you're talking Graves in the first game and their second one, Kindred. Like, it's pretty. It'd be fun to watch this team just how they perform.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be fun to watch, especially for the team as their season goes on. So Clutch, any closing remarks about this series?
No, not really. I mean, you guys kind of really said everything. I think same strategy, taking a game is big for them, especially since I believe they were ranked towards the bottom and able to take a game off FTD, which is one of the favorites in the group. Shows that they do have some good potential, and um, you know, unlucky for them that they're up against unlucky esports. Technically week 2, but the game
God,
got
oh
rescheduled.
no.
So they aren't really playing them, but they still have to play that game, and it really sucks for them that they have this really strong start to the season because I think they're a decent team. So just got to get through that and hopefully win the games later on in the season.
So moving on to the Solari division, we have Merciless Esports and CPK. CPK obviously pulled out the 2-0 and Matt Pizza kind of laughed in our faces because he
Mm-hmm.
was the only person to believe in them in the predictions. So Matt Pizza, why don't you start us off?
All right. So we'll look at CPK, right? We have Yasuo only. And in my mind, Yasuo only, he played for VBU. I knew this guy. I was just like, this guy, he's a good mid laner. I know he can make wonders happen. What I didn't expect was their bot lane, Red Panda and Rexmus. Like this bot lane for an IBS bot lane were amazing to watch, right? Like Red Panda has an 8 KDA as an ADC. Like this bot lane is probably one of the stronger bot lanes in Solari because Red Panda dropped so many kills, right? He is the carry that Crosspoint Qualimo needed to win to just 2-0 Merciless Frost. And that's not to say that the jungle and top didn't do anything. Like jungle top, they held their own. They were trying to making sure that their bot lane was at the center of everything, making sure the bot lane stayed alive, was getting the resources they need, and was just like offering the peel that Red Panda needed to just obliterate Merciless Frost.
Yep.
Brr, 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 brr.
That
Yeah,
was
I agree
English.
with you. It was, from what I saw as well, like you said, Matt Pizza, Red Panda, Reximus, like both of those games, they just absolutely smurfed. Like, just from numbers alone, you could see what kind of lane dominance they had. And it was really obvious to see, like, the rest of their team knew how to play around, like, give them the right amount of resources just for them to, accelerate through the game. So, okay, maybe we slept on CPK a little bit, or, they're this team that's a lot stronger than we thought. So, I do think it's going to be interesting to see how CPK will continue this season. This week I think they're up against the Junior Burgers, so that'll be a match to watch.
For sure.
So Zal, what do you think about this series?
Upset City, baby.
True.
Um, Upset City. I did not expect CBK to show the strengths that they did, especially in the bot lane, like Matt said. Bot lane just kind of smacked, at least in game 1. a little bit harder in the game too. I mean, Jinx is Jinx, right? You just play for your items. But the Kaisa game, kind of kind of insane. Um, but yeah, that's that's pretty much all I gotta say. I mean, just upset City.
True.
Who would have thought?
True. We did underestimate CPK a little bit, so it is
Mhm.
nice to see them like coming in strong. I like being proven, especially
Oh
like
yeah.
when it comes to predictions and stuff I write in power rankings. So, Clutch, what about you? This is your division. So,
So, um, one thing I noted from CPK is that I think their ADC is actually top 3 in the division, maybe top 2. Um, he's a really good player. I was looking at some of the stats this guy had, and he's putting up some big numbers for CPK. And if this guy is able to produce numbers like this every single week, CPK could be a top 3 team in the Solari division. Now, it's only been 1 week. They are up against Junior Burgers this week, which is a harder team. I mean, just on paper, it looks like a more difficult team. Um, so I need to see if Red Panda is consistently able to do this, because if he is, then this team can go far. But if he isn't able to, then it's going to be really hard for them to get into the playoffs. And that's my player to watch for this week. It's going to be Red Panda. Can he have consistency in the bot lane going up against Junior Burgers?
yeah, I mean, like you said, it's we're just looking forward towards how CPK will be playing the Junior Burgers, and remember that Junior Burgers is going to be taking a 0-1 record because RAR did drop out. They're taking that spot. So Junior Burgers, small handicap, but I don't think it's going to affect them in the long run. But yeah, and so the last match we're going to look at is Abyssal Emerald versus Big Duck on. So if you guys were tuning in for EDL, we did have their sister teams playing against each other as well in the first. Except it went a bit
Yep.
differently. We had Abyssal Sapphire and Big Duck Entourage again. And it was a really great series casted by Packapal and Colonel, and it ended in a 2-1 for Abyssal Emerald. Or Abyssal Sapphire, sorry. And so it's interesting to see that in EDL, so in their silver sister teams, BDE pulled out a 2-0. So, Clutch, why don't you start us off? Why did you think this was different?
Um, one thing I do want to say is Pooper played in EGL, did pretty well in EGL against James Moriarty in that match. Comes down to EDL and just smurfs. Like, this guy's an absolute insane player. He plays so aggressive for BDE. This guy's in your face all day. We saw on the EGL stream Psych and Pooper just 2v8 going in. They're in your face. They want to fight. So Pooper definitely did amazing in EGL, and now he's in EDL. And I think Poober is one of the best mid laners in the division. He has a good team around him too. It's not saying the rest of his team is bad. Sightstone, their jungler, who was my player to watch for week 0, dude played insane. He was a really good player for his team, and I'm just excited to see how far this team can go. I think Poober and Sightstone, definitely they're strong players. Not saying that the rest of the team wasn't strong, because Para04, I believe, had played Mordekaiser and like absolutely popped off with like 10 or like 15 kills or something in one of the games. So he was doing really good. Team is very solid, but I want to see this team be the aggressive, like LPL. We're just gonna fight you 24/7. I think they have the players to do it. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. And for the side of Abyssal, it just seems that they were a bit outclassed. Like, they're still kind of learning how to play as a team. I think their top laner, I'm going to butcher your name, but it's like Arpegios or something. I think he had a very good game. He played his Wukong. He looked pretty good on it. So definitely need to look forward to that player. I think he has a lot of potential. But remember how I said that Blood Beast role swapping and all that could be very good or very bad? Well, right now it looks very bad. It is only week 1, so obviously still a
Yeah.
lot of time, but it's not looking good right now. He's still a good player. I think he's a very solid player, but it's going to take him time to really come online and start helping out his team. Good news, bye week this week, which is huge. Gets more time to uh, role swap into that support position, and I think Abyssal give him a couple weeks, and I think they'll start beating some teams that maybe you didn't expect them to beat.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at, even just numbers alone, like Big Duck Entourage, just like the numbers this team is outputting, like you can just tell that every point of the map they've just been playing better. They're just doing better, and obviously they're playing as a team. And I'm excited to see them. When they get streamed. That's not this week. I think it went even next. But I'll have to double. So Zell, did you have anything that you wanted to add as well?
Um, Not necessarily. I think actually where the game actually mattered was the jungle. I think the jungler for BDE slight zone. He's kind of a beast in the he also filled in for game 1 for EGO and just or not EGO. Was it EGO? I can't actually remember now.
No.
No, it wasn't. My
Nope.
bad. I'm mistaken. Um what's it called? Yeah, picking up in the first game, having the most gold earned overall in his team is actually for me is a big indicator that this guy knows what he's doing in the jungle and just can actually propel his team forward with the snowballs. Actually getting his lanes ahead and just knowing how to control the map and applying that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see like Big Duck Entourage. I definitely think they're up there in the division. They're probably one of the stronger teams in the Solari division. I'm excited to see how they'll do. Try to keep their spot. So Matt Pizza, did you have any players that you wanted to highlight?
You know, I'm actually gonna go for the support, right? Hi, I'm Dresh. Like this guy, I mean, I'm assuming he's a Dresh main, right? Like just by the name. But when he did play Dresh, it was pretty good to watch. Like this guy was pretty clean with the hooks. He did also play the Leona, and he did God's work on the Leona, right? Like he went 1-0 and 8. So doing his job as the CC bot, trying to get harem issues ahead, and just a solid bot lane to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you. So before we run out of time, I'm gonna start going into predictions for this week. So obviously it's a little one-sided this week.
Oh,
Oh my god. Wait, you bet against your own team.
Yeah,
Zell, what's going on there?
so
Wait, this is the
me,
second
Hey,
time you've done
Matt
this.
Pizza, and
guys.
Clutch, we all said 2-0 for TFA, and Zell, who plays on CB Resurrection, was
Wait,
nice
he gave
Oh,
his
enough to
team a
give
win.
himself
He gave
one
his team a
game.
win. Okay.
yeah,
So,
you guys are toxic. At least I gave us. I gave.
okay, Zell, let's start with your 2-1 for TFA then.
uh, Honestly, it's just looking at TFA from last week or the first week. I think they have very strong players and very strong laners in their team, and I actually think they're a really good team. I think not we as a whole, but I uh did not expect them to perform the way they did, and I think our team is a little bit. We still have things to work on. We still have the kinks, that we're trying to sort out and get there. But I don't think it's gonna be a complete stop. That's why I gave us a one win. All right,
Yeah, the
you
one
know,
win.
I the one win, but I think this match is gonna be good. I think we'll be able to learn things and take things from it, regardless of a win or a loss, and just grow as a team. And maybe next week we'll get the 2-0. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that, I mean, at least for your team, for CB Resurrection, coming off of a kind of weaker week one,
stop.
you guys, okay, stomp. And you're looking to just, like you said, just get better throughout the season. It doesn't have to happen this week just yet. As long as you guys are still improving, right? I guess the one win's justified. It's
Yeah.
pretty one-sided across the board. So Matt Pizza, you said 2-0 TFA.
hmm
Care to explain?
So last week, CB Resurrection kind of had like we were talking about, like they kind of just didn't perform as well as we anticipated, and that like underperformance it either leads to two things, right? It's either we got to do better week two and just let's destroy them team, we got this, or it leads to the sense of like guys, we need to win this, like we're a better team, and like it just builds up to pressure for the players of CB Resurrection, right? So and unfortunately, week two it's a lot harder, right? they're playing against TFA, and after week 1, they're a really intimidating team to play against, right? So the pressure from losing week 1 combined with the pressure of playing against TFA, like it's any mistakes are just like it's just what's the right word? It's just amplified, right? Like the smallest mistakes could get amplified, and that could just turn into a snowball effect for the side of TFA and CB Resurrection. Like might they might just lose, right? Like after all the pressure built on them, and if they're not able to perform, they might just end up losing, and that's where my prediction comes in as a 2-0. Like I think unfortunately there's just too much pressure for CB Resurrection for them to like win this game.
Yeah, and before we run out of time, Clutch, what were your thoughts as well?
Zell, are you playing top lane? Like, do you have your
Yeah,
roster
I am.
today?
I am actually playing top lane today. Yes.
Okay, so you
So
have Accelerate and Jelly in the bot lane, right?
no, we actually have. I think if I'm correct, Excel did not play his games. So we actually have one hand in the ADC role.
did.
I think
He did play his games.
he did. Okay, well then I
Yes.
think unless things get changed last second, I think the roster today would be me in the top lane, Burners, Spy, one hand, and then Jelly.
All right, so I'm just gonna say this right now. TFA's bot lane is probably gonna gap pretty bad. It sucks because CB Resurrection has gone against probably the 2 best bot lanes in the league 2 weeks in a row, which seems to be a little bit of their weaker spot. Now, I'm not saying their bot lane's like terrible, but their bot lane when you go up against these like top class, like all the way at the top, like they went against Major Lag and Bob last week, and it didn't go so well. Now they're up against Queen Frost and Elite Omega, who are probably up there with those two. And I just think it's like the bot lane is just going to be a bit of a disaster. Now, I think obviously the top side of the map, Chinese Spy, Burners, and Shadow Stealer, Zell, have a very good shot at taking down TFA's top side of the map. I think it's pretty
Hey,
even and
that's me,
could
baby.
go either way. But for me, I just think the bot lane gap is just going to be a little bit too massive for them to handle. And obviously, they're coming off of a loss against Unlucky Esports Academy, who kind of play that same style. So for me, I just think TFA has the upper hand. They look good week 1. CB Resurrection, unfortunately, did not. So that just sways our vote towards TFA. And that's why I think TFA will 2-0.
All right, I like it. That's a good take. I just said 2-0 TFA. I said they were gonna win the league, so gotta support. And we'll go into the next the next match of the week.
That is
We have
rescheduled.
another little one-sided match. So
Yeah.
Guys.
Zell, something's looking a little similar here.
Yeah, 2-1
Hey,
again.
hey.
Go
You know
ahead.
what? 2-1. You guys are toxic. Okay, you got to give these teams a chance. I think same strategy can take a game. All right, they took a game off of FTD. No one was expecting a game off of FTD, right? I feel like ULE is stronger, I think, than FTD when it comes in that department. But I actually believe that same strategy can actually pull out and actually get one over them. I feel like if they just played to their strengths and exploit my bad ULE's weakness, which no one knows yet, but hey, if they get to do it, they'll get a win, right? But I do believe that SS can actually take a win off of this team if they play to their strengths and just don't get too bodied in the early game.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like, I'm a UEA fan. After their first week, it's like, how can I not support this team? Like, I'm a sucker for the rush and just make him look point and click. Well, I got hooked on players like Corey JJ. It's like, wow. Okay, so all right, Zal, you are again in the 2-1 pool by yourself.
If I win, we know why.
Okay, Matt Pizza. You said 2-0 for UEA as well.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I said 2-0, right, was because Unlucky's bot lane, they're cracked. They're pretty good. And then we also have Jesus Juice, right? Like this guy, he's probably one of my favorite players to watch now, right? After week 1, like I want to see what this guy can do. So obviously, I kind of have to vote that he's gonna like jungle gap again, get his KDA up to maybe the 40s, just pat the stats a little bit and come out with a 2-0 against same strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, when you're UEA, you're coming in with so much more confidence, especially when you're pulling out the only two and on
Hmm.
stream, like, I don't know, I would feel pretty. So,
Can we also
mhm.
sorry to cut you. Can we also mention the fact that Clutch withheld information from us last week? The
True.
fact that he was like, he never told us that they were smurfing Coalition. He never told us this. He just
I
kept it
didn't.
for
I didn't
himself.
even know before literally like 20 minutes before the stream. Someone told
Yeah,
me.
and you had 20 minutes to tell us, and you didn't. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
kind of trolling.
I didn't even change. Hey, I didn't change my prediction. I still stuck to it. I would have said 2-0. All right, that's all I'm saying for ULEA if I could have.
All right.
But I guess I'll just talk now for like 10 seconds because I mean this game is rescheduled, so it's not being played this week. I mean I'll still give insight. Obviously, we've got Reject TSM versus Reject C9. Going to be a real banger with in this matchup, as you can see the logos. But no, I think
Oh,
Unlucky Esports Academy are just like the best team in that division and same strategy right now. I mean, they did beat FTD, but they're still kind of figuring out how to play with their team now. This match is going to be played in a couple of weeks, so maybe in a couple of weeks, same strategy will have. A play style down and we'll come in strong. But like if this was played this week, I think Unlucky Esports Academy would just 2-0 them. I don't think it would be that close, to be honest. Not saying same strategy is bad or anything, but I think Unlucky Esports, I mean, are probably the best team in the division and honestly the best team in the league right now. I think they just are on a completely different level than every other team in this league.
Yeah, I mean, we all made these predictions, by the way, before we were, the reschedule was a thing. So, take that with a grain of salt, all of these predictions. So the next match we'll be looking at is Team Haven, who had
Let's
a bye
go.
week 1
It's gonna
versus
be a banger.
Hyperion Shadow. So, alright, I'll start because I'm just kind of sitting on the right. Actually, no, it's Zell. Sorry, I can't read. Zell, you are sitting on the right side by yourself.
you guys are, man, calling me out this week. I don't know what's going on. I just think, I mean, Haven had a bye, right? So for me personally, I just think seeing Hyperion and seeing what they did and looking at their laners, I just feel like on paper for me, this team should be able to take the dub. I don't know much about Haven outside of Rowan and Shadowfax. I think these two players are very strong laners and very strong players. But I just think Hyperion might have the edge when it comes to having carries in multiple lanes than just one. So I feel like, but I do believe Haven will take the game. But I think Hyperion can actually just come on top and actually he should be able to win the series.
Okay. I mean, like I said, Haven is my underdog team, and I just feel like Haven now that they've like kind of rebranded a little bit, but they've stuck together for the most part. I do think that Haven is coming into this season. They had a week to kind of watch how the other team, so I feel like they're coming in with a bit more information and yeah, I don't know. I just had my faith placed in Haven this. So Matt Pizza, you said 2-1 Haven, so you're on the other side of the
Mhm.
coin. So.
So I said 2-1 Haven because obviously we Haven didn't play, so they're kind of like this black box, right? We don't know what they can actually do.
You're
I
black.
but Hyperion, we said, what do you mean? You
What kind of analogy is that?
A
Because
black
Yeah.
box
okay?
is
A black box is something where it's like you don't know what's inside of it. It works.
I would have said
what?
Pandora's box, buddy, but okay, yes.
Nah, it works. But you don't really know what they can do, right? So I'm not gonna say 2-0 like Clutch. I'm not gonna be that heartless, but I'm gonna say that they're gonna come out on top, but they are gonna drop a game to Hyperion Gaming because Hyperion Gaming did like show us that they are a competent team last week.
That's the hot
But
take out of
That's
Matt Pizza.
okay.
Yeah, his black box, guys. He's
Yeah. He doesn't
they're his
Alright.
black box. Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
I mean, I guess I'll go now.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm the only one that did say Haven 2-0. Everyone else said 2-1. I gotta go with my old guard of the SG. They're gonna come in and they're gonna smurf it up. Obviously, last split, these guys took down MIT. Just remember that they took down the champions. All right. So I'm saying they're gonna flip heads and they're gonna prove to us that that was no fluke and they're here to play this time. Last season, they were getting used to everything. They were new. Okay, they're like, all right, let's see what it's about. Now they're like, hey, we're ready to play, and
True.
they are gonna absolutely destroy everyone. 4 of them on the roster, I believe, played for SG. I think the Wizards like the only new one that didn't, or was like
Yep.
a sub or something.
Yep.
So they kind of have like the exact same team almost, and I think this team has a lot of potential for sure. It's just really, are they going to get there? I think this team can crack that top tier spot with Unlucky Esports and them, but obviously they have to show it first. Hyperion Gaming is a very good team. They lost against TFA last week. TFA looks very solid in that group. And now they're up against Haven, which should be a good test for Hyperion Gaming. They're playing a lot of these teams to me that are like equal to them in skill or like in tiers, I guess. So we'll see this week if they are able to beat Haven. I think that Haven, with that extra bye week at the beginning of the season, because they have not played yet, got a little bit more practice and they're going to come in swinging. But you could also say that since Hyperion have played a game, they already have a game under their belt. So they have a bit more experience in the leagues. You could also make a case that, maybe Hyperion just beats them because Haven is, had that bye week.
Yeah, I mean Haven season 1 for them, that was the warm-up season. This is this is where the real deal is. So, the next match we are looking at is the Junior Burgers versus the Cross Point
Okay.
Koala Mode. So
Let's
we've got
go.
some two so
Yeah,
we've
it's
got some
kind
two
of
spicy people. This is the first, evenly split prediction of the week. So let's start on the right side again. Matt Pizza, you are supporting the Crosspoint
Yeah.
Koala Modes
Cross
once
point,
again.
baby.
you guys.
CPK.
Got because okay, I told you, week 1 I supported Crosspoint Qualamos, and all of you guys left. You guys are like, what's going on? They're gonna lose to Merciless, and then they came out on top, and I'm like, oh, who's laughing now? Me, because you guys lost.
Uh-huh.
But so obviously week 2, I have to back up my boys Crosspoint Koalamos, right? Like going against Junior Burgers, which haven't played yet, so this is gonna be their first game. I still think it's gonna be a 2-0 for Crosspoint, right? If Red Panda is able to show us that he can play consistent, like Clutch said, this is gonna be one of the top 3 teams for Lunari or Solari, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, we're probably sleeping on the Crosspoint Koalamos, but on the other side of the coin, I said 2-1 for the Junior Burgers, mostly because, well, I do think this is going to be a really close game. I do think on paper, the Junior Burgers they're a strong team, they're a talented roster. So just trying to see, like, I just think it's going to be a close series regardless. I do think it's going to be full 3 games, unlike the rest of you. So I don't know. I don't really have any solid reasoning other than I just think it's going to be a really close series. And, Junior Burgers, Burger Flip Esports, they like to flip their games and 50-50 chance of winning. So, I think it's going to flip towards their favor. So, Zell, you said 2-0 for the Junior Burgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it how it is. Upset City. It was called an upset for a reason. All right. I feel like Junior Burgers can actually come in hot and take over this team. And possibly this division. Who knows? We haven't seen them yet in game. This will be our first experience with the Junior Burgers roster. But I know from past experience, not past experiences, but just seeing and hearing things from the Burger Flip organization. They have really good coaching over there. They have the tools players need to grow and to achieve wins. And I feel like that alone, I had to give it for Junior Burgers. I mean, Crosspoint, yeah, Yasuo only, they're Red Panda, good players, right? But I think Junior can just I think they're gonna show up in their first in their debut.
Yeah. Again, like Junior Burgers, they are coming in with a 0-1 record. So I do think they're gonna, they're like, we don't even need this 1 week, we're just that good. But last but not least, Clutch, you said 2-0. You're on the same team at Pizza.
Yep.
I'd like to explain.
All right. So, listen, week 1, I doubted the boys, okay? And that was not a good choice. Apparently, I don't need to doubt the boys. That is not a good idea. So now I'm with the boys, all right? CPK week 1, they proved me wrong. And now I'm on the hype train, all right? CPK, we got Red Panda in the bot lane. Dude looked insane. One of the best ADCs in the division. The division week 1, he looked very good. And this team looks very solid. However, they are going up against Junior Burgers, who I think are going to be a solid team in this division. My matchup going to be the bot lane. Oh my God, going to be this bot lane. Red Panda and Rexmas versus Darling Panda and LDS. It's going to be an insane matchup in that bot lane. One player I want to point out on CPK, though, is Slim, Grizzly in the top lane. This guy quietly is playing really, really good on the team. Not saying the rest of their team isn't, but he is quietly doing his job. And he's going to be going up against, we have the memes who I have no clue who this is. Seems to be a newer player. Or no, they have an E-sub. They have Chef Boy. Right. They have Chef Boy. So this is going to be a banger matchup. Slim versus Chef Boy in the top lane. Bob, by the way, who is the ADC for Unlucky Esports. Only reason why he can play is they don't have a game this week. They rescheduled it, so he's allowed to E-sub. So this is going to be a banger matchup in the top side. My only problem is if CPK wins game 1, I think the mentals are out the window. I think they just 2-0. I think if they are able to win game 1, we saw last split what happens when CB lost a game with Bob. Now, I don't know all the internal issues. There could be some other problems, but they lost one game and it just seemed like, boom, he's gone. Okay. So CPK wins game 1. I'm thinking it's just a quick 2-0. Like it's just CPK takes the win. But like I said, Junior Burgers, I think they're a really good team. And this is a huge test to see if this team, because I think CPK right now is a playoff team. Obviously, my power rankings, I wrote that. So if Junior Burgers can't beat them, then I think Junior Burgers have to come into the conversation. Are they a top 4 team in this division? I think right now they're probably like 4th or 5th with Merciless Esports Frost. So we'll see how it's going to go. But my boy CPK, I'm trusting my boys, and they're going to take the 2-0 today.
All right, so 2-0. Yeah, again, like you said, Clutch, it's gonna be a really good series. I think it's gonna be a bit closer, but we'll move on to the next series. We're looking at Merciless Esports Frost. Oh wait, am I looking at the wrong one? Oh no, never mind.
What?
This is right. This is right. Never mind. This is when you know you don't have enough sleep at night. Okay, so we are looking at Merciless Esports Frost versus Big Duck on. So I'm the Matt Pizza of the week. That I'm just gonna believe in the other team. Like I honestly just think that this series is going to be a full 3-game series, and I can see that everyone else on the desk today thought the same. So I honestly do think that my prediction's probably gonna be wrong, but I like to gamble to test my luck. After I kind of used all of it for EGL anyway. Yeah, by the way, everybody, I gotta let everyone know. All the games played on Monday, I guessed perfectly down to the game numbers. So I feel like now that's the peak of my analyst career, so I'm just gonna have fun. And I'm gonna believe in Merciless.
Predictions.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
think
gonna
I got
have fun.
everything.
I'm gonna
Monday,
believe
yeah.
in
Just wait till
Merciless
Monday.
this week. Mm-hmm.
We'll
Exactly.
expose.
Guys, I don't want to be on the desk one day. Can you just take me off? Can we have someone else go in? I went 1 for 4. Can we just take me off? Oh my God. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Exernian, you said 2-1. I think we all agree that this is a really close series and could go either way. I'll just say something really short and then let you guys go, obviously. Obviously, BDE, I think, was very solid team week 1 up against Merciless Esports Frost. Merciless did lose. Now, they did lose to CPK. I don't know how much you value that win for CPK. Obviously, we don't really know their true power level. They were hiding it.
It's not even
The
their
readings
final
on
form.
the readings on the scouter were a little wrong. Seems to be malfunctioning, but BDE matchup to watch: mid lane. We have DeChells versus Poober. This is going to be an insane matchup. Both these mids, I think, are at the top of their game right now. They both look very solid for these teams, and it's going to be hype. Like, this is a matchup. If I wasn't streaming, I would go into spectator client and I would watch this. Like, this is a hype matchup. And it's really close, like 50-50 easily. You could make an argument for either of these teams to win, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with my boys, Big Duck Entourage.
Yeah, I agree. Like we just see so many good series. I think definitely this is going to be a really one of the really good series of this week. So, Matt Pizza, you said 2-1 Big Duck Entourage. Do you have anything to add?
Um, So okay, not to just bandwagon off of Cole or anything, but my player to watch is the mid lane, right? So after watching Poober playing EGL and like seeing Psych engage and seeing Poober right there, right next to him, following up, it's just as a top laner, it's amazing to have someone else just vibe with you, just be on the same aggression level as you, and like they're making wonders happen in EGL.
It's the
So
anime arc.
coming down to EDL, like I think Puber is a really good mid lane. So I want to see some insane plays from him, right? Like I think Puber, not to put more pressure on him, but I think this win just relies on Puber being able to smurf.
I mean, all right, I agree with you. Poober did look really good in EDL. Definitely like one of the stronger players, especially in EDL now. So,
Hmm.
Zell, you also said 2-1 BDE.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm gonna have to bandwagon off of those two about the mid lane. I think this is gonna be the matchup to watch. But I do believe that if these two are in a Mexican standoff, that I actually think it's gonna come down to the support and jungle for both sides to be able to roam and actually help their teams get ahead and see what they can do to actually apply pressure on the map and actually snowball this game. Because like the mid lane is really good, both of these, the Chills and Poober. But if it is at a stand point, then I feel like Stone or Farrakhan can actually just make moves on the map and just roam and see what they can do.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a great matchup to watch. So, the last and streamed match that we'll be talking about for the week
Oh
is
yeah,
MIT versus Rev.
banger! Let's go. The
Okay,
rematch of the
I'm getting
finals.
some like season 1 vibes right now. Like
I don't
MIT
know.
versus
We saw this in the
Revolution.
finals. I don't know.
You know, I should have just used their old logo.
I
So,
mean, this is a banger matchup. Go ahead if
Yeah.
you want. Do you want to go
I'm on
first
the
since you're on
You
the
should
other
go
yeah,
side?
first.
all right. I'm on
Yeah.
the other side of of the predictions again because it's not fun if we all pick the same matchup. Like sometimes sometimes I gotta be on the side, but there's got to be someone that believes in the team. So for Revolution, I do think that they had a really strong roster in season 1. Like their ADC is still the same as Banks. I think he was one of the really consistent players throughout their season. So obviously they had an FF season, from week 1. So it'll be interesting to see because I just think that Revolution, like, it's obviously hard to say since they didn't play in week 1, but I do think that this roster already on paper, I just feel like they've already, they've got what it takes to come and beat MIT in what kind of seems like a throwback to season 1. So, I'm a firm believer. And I don't even remember what I said in season 1. I should probably like look back and see if I said MIT or Rev. All right, so Matt Pizza, you are the only one to guess 2-0 for MIT.
Hmm.
So you think we're
So
gonna get, we're gonna have a nice, quick, like 2-hour stream in and out, and I can go back to bed.
yeah, it's the caster's curse always, right? Like this is the stream match, like you said. So I gotta say it's a 2-0 for MIT. Um, Reason being, right? We looking at MIT's rosters, we have some notable names. We have BTS Jungkook in the jungle. We have Merciful Crow, MVP from EDL season 1. We have Willow. Willow's a pretty good jungler from ZGG, I believe. And then we also have Jason KB as their so I'm not entirely sure if Jason's gonna be playing this game, but regardless, their roster looks pretty stacked, right? Like I think MIT is gonna come out, pull out with a quick and easy 2-0, which lets you go back to sleep.
True. I do like sleeping.
Mhm.
So Clutch and
Mhm.
Zell, you both said 2-1 for MIT. What do you think is going to make this series a full 3 game?
You can go
Um,
first, Cole.
who do you want to go first,
All
me or
right,
Zell?
Zell, you can go first.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you first.
As a former MIT player, graduate. All right. I just I think this iteration of MIT are pretty strong. You know, we might have been a little bit better, but I think this iteration is pretty strong. I actually think this game, I said 2-1 because I think Rev can actually take a win off of MIT. I feel like MIT, this is their debut in EDL. They're gonna be, I think, Rev can actually come up and sneakily take a win just with Skeleton in the mid lane and Gold in the jungle. I feel like these two, this is gonna come down to their synergy, that jungle and mid synergy, because I also believe Jungkook and Annie, they are built different. All right, their communication, their synergy as mid and jungle is pretty insane. But I feel like this is gonna come down. The game is gonna come down to these two, or these four rather. Um, you have new names in MIT, of course. You have Tomorrow, uh, uh, Jason KB, Blixby, you know, John Coop as well, but noticeable names and names that have been around for a minute. But I do believe MIT are gonna take the win on top, regardless of Rev getting a win. But I do believe that this is gonna be a fun matchup to watch and a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stream match of the week, so 8 Eastern, come around. You guys will see MIT Rev duke it out. So last but not least, we have Clutch. Close.
Uh, so I'll say that this MIT, I think, roster is weaker. Now it's not to say this roster isn't still absolutely stacked. I think it's still a very good roster, but it definitely is weaker than the roster that played in the ZGG finals. Like I'll say that straight up. I think it is. And Rev obviously did lose to MIT in the finals. I believe it was 3-1 in ZGG. And now they're going to be in uh in this matchup now. So I think MIT, I still think they're a stronger team. I think they have a great roster on paper, but Rev for sure can upset and take this one. It isn't really much of an upset, I'd say, more than just kind of like just taking the win. Because I think Rev has a very solid roster. Obviously, Skeleton in the mid lane, very good player. Their bot lane, Spanks and Ziliak. Ziliak role swapping from top lane to support, I believe. So another role swap to the support position. So we'll see how he's going to look on stream. But yeah, I think it'll be a really good one. I think it's going to go 3 games. Obviously, the stream match should be a banger. Rev's going to want revenge for sure on MIT in the finals. But yeah, that's really all I've got. I think MIT will take it 2-1.
Rev for revenge. I like it. But yeah, I mean, everyone, thank you guys for tuning in. That is all of the time we have for today. So in about half an hour, pop in and we'll be getting ready to stream MIT versus Revolution Esports. Hope to see you guys there, and thanks for watching.